Welcome to Influential Sports, and today I'm going to be talking about the race to the NBA postseason and how competitive it's been this year. So make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And there's a lot of parity in the NBA, and ever since the introduction of the play-in tournament a few years ago, the race to the postseason has always been a tight race, but it's really tight this year. For the East and Western Conference, it seems like the top 10 teams are solidified, but they're still all fighting for positioning. And there's really no clear-cut favorites. Or in the Eastern Conference, the Celtics are the one seed with 51 wins, and they're 51-14, and they're 9.5 games ahead of the Bucks, who are second in the East. And the Celtics have been amazing this season with all stars and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Then a great supporting cast with Derek White, Porzingis, and Al Horford and other role players. They just have a great all-around team. Great defensively, great offensively. They do rely a lot on the three, and they take the least amount of twos. I don't know if it's in the league right at all. I think they take the least amount of twos in the league, which that could hurt them come playoff time. And the one, but they'll secure the postseason spot, so they're guaranteed to finish in the top 10. I don't see them. They're likely going to finish at one. I don't see them going into a deep stretch just losing games. It's on a 3-game winning streak right now. 29-3 at home, 22-11 on the road, 8-2 in their last 10. One of the best home, probably the best home team in the league record-wise. But they're going to be a tough matchup in the playoffs, no matter who it is. Maybe somebody like the Heat could get them a problem in the first round. But this team should get to the conference finals at maybe I'm predicting them to go to the finals, but conference finals at worst. But this team, they look like the favorite right now, but both times they matched up against Denver, it didn't look great. Then you got the rest of the East. You got the Bucks and Cavaliers. They're fighting for that 2 seed, and Donovan Mitchell, he's missed time. The whole Cavs team has missed time at different points in the season. They're one of the teams that I didn't really watch a lot during this. I watched them a decent amount, but they've always had injuries throughout this entire season. But they're still at the 3rd seed, and then the Bucks, they're gonna be competing between that 2nd and 3rd seed. Then you get down to 4 through 8, and you got the Knicks currently at 4, Orlando at 5, Indiana at 6, and then the Knicks are 38-27, the Magic 37-28, Indiana's 37-29, Philadelphia's 36-29, and Miami's 35-29. So you have 5 teams competing for spots 4, 5, and 6 to avoid the play-in. Only 3 teams are going to be able to get that spot. And since Embiid has been out, it's been rough for the 76ers as expected. He was having a great season. It's just unfortunate that he got injured at a terrible time. And Maxey, he's still been doing his thing. Tobias Harris has stepped up in some games, but they'll probably finish at the 8th seed and the play-in. Then you got the Knicks, who've been dealing with injuries. They stayed afloat. But Orlando, the Magic have been great, led behind Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. They've had a great season. They started off real hot this season to around the 2 seed, failed to ace at one point, but now they're back in that contention to be a playoff team, a guaranteed playoff team without having to go through the play-in. Could finish at 4 or 5. There's a possibility they could go down, but I think these top teams will stay the same as it is right now. Maybe the Magic and Knicks flip, but I think Indiana, Philly, I think it finishes 6, Indiana, 7, the Heat, and 8, the 76ers. The 76ers might miss the playoffs just because They end up falling into the play-in, and there's no Embiid, and that puts a lot of pressure on not just Maxey but the entire team. But the, you have a race for 2 and 3 in the East. Then you have a race between 4 to 8, while all these teams are trying to compete to not be in the play-in. Then the last two play-in spots, you got the Chicago Bulls and Atlanta Hawks, two mediocre teams. Trae Young is out right now. Haven't watched the Hawks since he got injured. And they've won a few games. They're 5-5 in their last 10. The Bulls also 5-5 in their last 10. But I don't see maybe the Bulls make the playoffs because without Embiid, I think without Embiid, the Bulls definitely have a great chance of beating the 76ers if they have to face in the second play-in game. And I don't know how long Trae Young will be out. So maybe the Hawks and 76ers have another postseason classic. They played in the playoffs in 2021, but still counts as the postseason if they meet in the play-in. But those are the top 10 teams in the East. The Nets are 26-39. Maybe they can move up. Then you got the Raptors, Hornets, Pistons, and Wizards. The Wizards have already been eliminated from postseason contention. They have no shot of getting in. The Pistons haven't mathematically been eliminated, but they'll be there soon. But that's it for the Eastern Conference. The Celtics are definitely the favorites, but as outside of that, I don't know who I say is the second best team in the East. Now moving on to the West. So in the East you have 8 teams above 500. In the West, all the top 10 teams are above 500. And then I can cover the bottom of the West first because it's not really a lot to talk about. The Spurs are 14-52 and have already been eliminated from the postseason contention. Victor Wembanyama has been amazing this season. He clear-cut Rookie of the Year. That's all that's. And the Spurs need a point guard. As much as I had to say about them, but Wemby has been amazing. It's been spectacular to see what he's been doing this year. You got the Trailblazers, who they'll be eliminated from contention soon. They got 18 wins. They haven't been great. Anthony Simons, a very fun player to watch. He's definitely had me invested in a few Trailblazers games this season. And the stuff with DeAndre Ayton and Phoenix seems they'll carry it over to Portland. But that's about everything that covers that. The Grizzlies, I watched 10 games of the Grizzlies this season. I watched 4 out of the 9 that Ja was there. It just sucks. They had a lot of injuries this year, but they'll definitely bounce back next year and be in that tight race in the Western Conference. The Utah Jazz 3-game losing streak sitting at 12. It was a moment in the season where they had a nice 10-game stretch. They were looking promising, and they are completely out of it. But with the way they've been playing recently, I don't know if they'll get back into that 10th spot in the play-in. Then you got the Rockets, who are on a 3-game winning streak, 30-35. They're not too far out of the play-in, but they have a lot of ground to cover, so it's going to be tough for them to get back in there. But Alperen Sengun, he did get hurt recently. Prayers up to him. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. But he's been amazing. He's definitely took the lead as the Rockets' best player, I'd say. And that's it to cover those bottom 5 teams of the West. But to get to this tight and playoff race, you have all 10 teams are above 500. Like the top 3 is OKC at 45-20, Denver at 45-20, and Minnesota at 45-21. And these 3 teams are going to be competing. They've been competing all season for those 1-3 spots. It was 1-4 with the Clippers at 41-23, but they've had injuries recently and gotten this stayed at their 4th spot. So now that race for the top three is became between Denver, OKC, and Minnesota, and it's gonna be great to see how that plays out. Because Denver, after the All Star break, they were aiming for the 1 seed, and they're almost there. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Jokic is putting up. Jokic is playing better than last season, and he might win MVP again. I would probably go Shea for MVP right now, but if Jokic won it, I wouldn't be mad at that. So you got OKC, then you get like I said, you got the Clippers at 4, and they've had injuries recently with Westbrook and Kawhi. PG missed some time, and they always have injuries at the worst parts of the season. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. I know Kawhi had back spasms or something of that nature recently in their game against the Timberwolves, which was crucial. The Timberwolves were able to get that Wednesday. Karl Anthony Towns is also out. And prayers up to anybody that's injured right now. Hope it's probably not realistic, but you always hope for everybody to be healthy come playoff time. And in 5 through 10, you got, I don't know how much this, well, at 5, you had the Pelicans who are 39-25. They've been great this season. Brandon Ingram and Zion have been good, but I don't know how to feel about the Pelicans. I don't think I trust this team in a playoff series, despite how good they've been this season. But Zion, he shut up all the critics. He's been playing great. Uh, you got the Suns at 6, who are 38-27. They're still a pretty bad fourth quarter team. No, they're 11 games over 500. When it comes to the fourth quarter, they're just a bad team. Then in the play-in, you got the Kings at 37-27. You got the Mavericks at 37-28. The Lakers at 36-30. And the Warriors at 34-30. And like I said, the race to the playoffs, to the postseason is going to be crazy. Because you look at spots 1 through 3 in the West, you got 3 teams fighting. The Clippers will probably stay at 4, but the Pelicans and Clippers could swap. So then you got teams compete for 4 and 5. Then when it comes to 6 through 10, that's 5 spots. And all 5 of those teams are competing to get to that 6th spot so they don't have to be in the play-in. And out of the Suns, then there's a possibility that the Pelicans fall. So between the Pelicans, Suns, Kings, Mavericks, Lakers, and Warriors, the 2 teams are gonna miss out on the playoffs. And it's gonna be crazy to see, because going into the season, we know the race will be tight, but this is a really tight race. Then you got Luka, who's playing at an MVP level. He should definitely be in the MVP conversation. I know people aren't fans of MVPs who win when their teams miss the playoffs, but Kareem won an MVP while missing the playoffs. Russ and Jokic, even their situations were different because they didn't have somebody like Kyrie on their team, but they won it as a 6 seed. Both of them won it as a 6 seed. So I think Luka should definitely be in consideration for MVP. Right now, my top 3 for MVP would be Shea, Luka, and Jokic. But all 3 guys have been amazing. All these teams in the West, they've had, especially 6 through 10, they've had their low points and high points of the season. But all these games down the stretch are important. And anybody can get beat on any given night. This is one of the best races to the playoffs we've seen in a while. Like tonight, the Lakers and Kings will play tonight, and both those teams need that win. The Lakers need it to contend. If the Lakers get the win, it helps them because they get another win added, and the Kings have another loss. But then if the Kings win, that hurts the Lakers because they're both in the middle of that playoff race. The Nuggets and Heat play tonight. Even though they're in different conferences, fighting for different things, The Nuggets want to get this win because they're trying to get that first seed in the West, and the Heat are trying to avoid the play-in in the East. You got the Cavs and Pelicans. The Cavs are trying to get the second seed. The Pelicans are trying to get the fourth seed in the West. The Cavs trying to get the second seed in the East. And the Warriors and Mavericks both in that play-in range in the West. Two teams, both over 500 to need wins. And this is how the rest of the season is going to look. All these games are important down the stretch. Like tomorrow, the Suns and Celtics play again. I got the Bucks and 76ers, OKC and Dallas. This is the most important stretch of the season. But this race in the NBA postseason has been amazing. It's been entertaining to watch, and I can't wait till it's time for the postseason. So make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Peace.